This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, 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 family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Oh, family, I'm so excited to be here with you again this week. And if you have not joined the family as of yet, please do so. And you can do so by clicking that button and subscribing to the podcast, liking the podcast, and then sharing the podcast episode with everyone who you know, especially the ones who you feel will benefit. So today, family, we are jumping right in. We are talking about mental health, but mental health for men, men's mental health. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It is June. And so I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to speak to our men, and not only to our men, family, to the women here who are in our family who have men in your lives. Please pass this along. And even if you don't think they'll listen to the podcast or watch the podcast, just give them the information, okay? Because we want our men to be mentally healthy. Men, we need you, and we don't need you ducking the help that you may need. All right. Women need help, men need help. And what's so interesting is men are less likely to go get to access mental health services when the suicide rates for men significantly outweigh the suicide rates for women. Women will go and access mental health services. So please, men, we need you to pull up. We need you to pull up and, just get your mind checked out. We need you. We need you because when you're healthy, then you create healthy relationships. You create healthy relationships with your children, relationships with your family, and friendships. So we need you. And when I was saying relationships, I meant romantic relationships. Men, we need you, and we need you to be mentally healthy. So someone may say to me, well, why is it that men don't seek mental health services? So I will tell you a few of the barriers. So one of the first barriers is toxic masculinity. And I'm going to break down what that actually means, but it's toxic masculinity and societal conditioning. The things that society tells men that they need to be and how they need to show up in the world is one of the reasons why men have decided, I don't really need to seek those type of services, because being a man and being masculine has nothing to do with mental health services, counseling, psychology, seeing a psychiatrist. That's, which is not true, but that is one of the barriers. Another barrier is the stigma and shame surrounding the words mental health, right? So, the stigma that says that, oh my gosh, if you access mental health services, then you must be crazy. Well, a good thing about all of the work that we have been doing out here as mental health practitioners is trying to destigmatize those words. It is the reason that this podcast is named what it's named. I trademarked the name mental health is a lifestyle. It is a phrase because it is a lifestyle. It is about you living a healthy lifestyle by first getting your mind right. Once your mind is right, then everything else falls into place. So I created the term because I wanted people to normalize the conversation surrounding mental health. And guess what? I mean, I kind of started this some time ago, and now it's actually happening. I mean, I am so excited when I see on television shows, they have these male support groups, and just, more and more celebrities, talking about mental health. So we need to normalize all conversations surrounding mental health because we all have a mental, we all have a mind, and we need to keep it sharp, keep it together. Because let me tell you something, life be lifing. And while life is lifing, we need the support to keep us strong and resilient as we move through this life so we can find quality of life. And we want men to lead us. So men, come on now. But let me tell you, another barrier is the lack of safe services. So a lot of times, and I will say this, that I'm called often to get referrals for men, male counselors, and really male African American male counselors. And there aren't that many around. There really aren't that many. So I can understand that, there is a lack of, and I'm saying safe services, meaning trained, therapists. However, the men are out there. There just aren't that many of them, but they are out there. And then practical barriers to cost. So some people feel like, or men feel like going to see a therapist, spending that money to go to a therapist or to see a psychiatrist just ain't in the budget. Because what they want to put first is housing and food. You got what I'm saying? And that makes sense. However, this is why we do take insurance. And you may just have to pay a copay, like a small little copay of $20 to $30 for getting your mind right. Men, it is worth it. It is worth it. It's worth it. Because you know what? I would go with that theory if you weren't spending money, investing money on expensive sneakers, you know what I'm saying? Or different things for your car. I mean, getting your mind right first should be the priority, men. I'm going to say this over and over again. We need you. So I just want to break down toxic masculinity. And the reason why I'm breaking this down, because this is something that we hear it all over the internet, all over IG or, Facebook or wherever else, I guess people, TikTok, where people get their information nowadays. And people are referring to toxic masculinity. Well, that's toxic. So I said, you know what? Right now, right here, when we are talking to men and about your mental health, let's break down exactly what that is. Hey, family, come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But guess what? You don't have to go anyplace else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. So there you go, family. Don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right. I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side. So here are some examples of toxic masculinity because there are a lot, but I'm going to hit you with some examples. So the first one would be suppressing your emotions. That is a part of toxic masculinity. So when you are feeling something, maybe feeling emotional, masking that and not pushing it down instead of expressing them because of the story, the societal norm, or what you've been taught maybe in your family system or in school or wherever you were when you were playing sports is real men don't cry. Real men don't cry. That's a lie. Real men do cry when they feel their feelings. Because what will happen when men don't cry is once you start stacking your feelings, and I usually say, I like to say it's like a dresser. You know how you have a dresser and you have all these drawers? So when things come up for you and you may be feeling emotional, your emotion could be anger, frustration, and you just really want to get it out and express it, but you're thinking you need to be a real man. So you suppress it, you put it down. So I say you put it in a drawer. Okay, then something else happens because life be lifing. And then what happens? You put that in the drawer. You keep stacking the drawers till one day it's too heavy. The drawer's too heavy, so the whole dresser falls down. And that's the day that you explode. And usually exploding on people in your life who really didn't deserve that explosion. Okay, so we're talking about toxic masculinity. Another example of toxic masculinity would be aggression as strength. So, for some men, you feel like being aggressive is what shows up as being strong. So if I'm dominant, if I'm dominating every situation, even though it may not even be necessary, then you believe that, that aggression means that you are strong or you are showing strength. Even if you're in a situation where there's some kind of conflict between you and someone else, and the first thing you want to do is fight, you know what I'm saying, or cuss someone out or scream, because somewhere in your mind, you learned toxic masculinity that being aggressive and being violent means that you are strong. I'm here to tell you, my brothers, that's a lie. That's a lie. Sometimes you can just let stuff just go ahead and pass you by. When you start looking at your life, when you get into some kind of conflict, you know what I'm saying, or you're facing some type of altercation and you have a decision to make, you don't have to choose aggression to show up as strength. Sometimes, my brother, strength looks like I'm stepping up out of that. I'm walking out the door because I realize that I have too much to lose to engage in some foolishness. You feel me? So that's really what masculinity looks like and what healthy masculinity looks like and what strength really looks like. Sometimes it looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks like ignoring BS, keeping it moving because you have too much to risk with dealing with foolishness. Another example would be rejecting anything that you think, I'm going to use this, that's feminine or that you would say females do, so any type of interactions or duties that are nurturing, any type of interactions that someone would see as sensitive, anytime you want to show empathy by listening to someone and putting yourself in their shoes by being a little soft, sometimes nurturing, I mean, that's that is strength. You know what I'm saying? That is healthy masculinity, is exuding all of those things, a nurturing spirit. I mean, let me tell you something. That is what young women, grown women need and want, but that is something that little girls desire. They desire that nurturing spirit that their dads actually do have, but sometimes suppress because of this idea that that's that's being a female, or that's too feminine because of toxic masculinity. And let me tell you something, honey, your daughters are missing out. Now you teaching them what to go look for out in the world, when they should be expecting and looking for not only a man that can take care of them, but who can also nurture them. Come on, dads. I'm just saying, stop rejecting anything that's feminine. Another example of toxic masculinity is hyper independence, which means that I'm never going to ask for help, no matter what, even when I need it, even when I'm struggling emotionally, if I'm struggling with my finances, if I'm struggling with communication, if I'm struggling in my relationships, that hyper independence where I'm just going to figure it out on my own. And what I've seen that look like is I can see it funnel itself in health concerns like high blood pressure, okay, any type of diabetes, an exacerbation of all illnesses that are laying in your system. That's what stress does. So when you are taking on all of this sense of I need to be hyper independent and not really express myself or ask for help from others, then you create more stress for your body. That's what that looks like. And in order to get relief, I see that as drinking, over drinking, you know, um, uh, smoking, doing drugs, alcohol abuse, alcoholism, all of those things, smoking, drinking, domestic violence. So it's healthy. It's healthy, guys. It is healthy for you to be dependent on friendships, healthy friendships, to be dependent and to express what your needs are, to ask for help. That's healthy. That's healthy masculinity. And I'm going to say the last example that I'm going to bring up today about toxic masculinity is homophobia, or those rigid gender roles where men will feel like girls only do these things and men only do these things. So as a man, you've believe that you don't wash dishes, you don't clean up, you don't make up the bed, you don't cook. I don't know, rigid roles, right? And your partner doesn't, I don't know, do some things that you might say masculine, like maybe put air in her tires, put gas in her car, get her car washed, mow the lawn. So my thing is this. I respect if you're running a household and you feel like as a man, these are the things that you want to do because you're good at doing them. And then your partner, you like, okay, these are the things that I want you to do, babe, because you are really good at them. I understand that. And let's just say some of those will fall in the category of gender roles. However, that's fine. That's healthy. But when you're rigid in saying, although as a man I can cook, I'm never cooking because that's some feminine ish. That's toxic masculinity. You got me? Or when you have children in the household and you tell your son he could never cook or he doesn't need to clean up and that the girls in the house need to do that and girls can, like, that's where it becomes toxic. Okay. So y'all tracking? Those are examples of toxic masculinity. And a lot of times, if you've grown up, men, with these norms in your family system, in your culture, in your neighborhoods, then this is what you're going to believe. And as you're believing and acting out these things, sometimes you really can be destroying your relationships. You can be destroying your relationships with the family members who surround you. You can be destroying your relationship with your children and then destroying romantic relationships. And you looking at the other person, blaming it on them when really, men, you might be a little toxic. You might be toxic, and it's okay. And I don't have no judgment for you. I want you to get the help that you need. That's why your sister is here telling you Please, you are worthy to reach out and get the help that you need. Okay, men? So, this is what I am going to do. If you may find yourself in some of those categories, then what I want to do is I want to give you some resources. So, I'm going to put up on the screen a couple of resources and ways for you to find some mental health support, to find some help. Finding an amazing counselor, therapist can change your life. I have helped many of men who've come to my practice. I've helped them to change their lives. And even if just communicating with their partners, if they're in a partnership, if they're in a romantic relationship, because a lot of times, men, when you don't know that you toxic, then what you're actually doing is poisoning all the things around you, but it's unbeknownst to you when you don't even know it. So sometimes it's good to get an unbiased opinion by a trained professional, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. And the man doesn't necessarily have to be your race. You can also go see a woman. I mean, as a therapist, I do and have gone to therapy. If there's something for some time, I really worked on with the therapist for years, and it helped to change my life. And then from time to time, when things may come up in my life and I might need to go in and get a checkup, like an oil change or anything else, you know what I'm saying? Keeping my brain nice and strong, especially with all of the things that I hear as I help other people. I've gone to a woman before. I've gone to a man before. So sometimes it could just be dependent on where you are in your life and what you're looking for. And I will say this there are men who come to see me because they feel like they don't want to go see a man for whatever reason. And then, vice versa, right? Okay. So my point is I want you to get a checkup on your mind. I want you to go look for help so that you can heal, because we need you. We need you to lead us, and we need you to lead us while you're in the healthiest position possible. We want all of you, not just a little part of you. You got me? It's a lot of stress out here, you know, trying to hold up families, support families, to be the one who has to be the one that everyone leans on and looks to for a solution. That's a lot of pressure, that men that you are under. And so sometimes you need some relief. However, what I'm going to say to you is you want positive relief. You don't want dysfunctional relief. You don't want maladaptive relief, okay? When you're in a monogamous relationship and then you're going and you being unfaithful because you're trying to get some surface relief that's only going to last for a short period of time, or when you keep going to, I don't know, cigarettes or smoking or alcohol, all of those things that only give you a little short time relief. What you want is something that's going to be long term and life changing. That's the kind of relief that you want and that you can get from mental health services, because the work really is going to be about you changing you working on you. So yes, I'm going to say that it is going to take some work. It is some inner work. And that's just like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, if you walk in a gym and you see all the weights and you just walk around it and then you walk back out with doing nothing, it's easy breezy, you're going to look just like you did when you walked in. You're not going to you ain't going to be cock diesel when you leave out. You ain't going to have no muscles when you leave out. The body it's not going to change when you leave out. Okay. You're going to walk in and you're going to walk out the same way. However, if you want to change your body, then you got to lift up them weights. And yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be a challenge, but it's a good challenge. No pain, no gain. So this is the same thing with looking at your behaviors and how you act out, and sometimes your perception, how you see things, for you to identify with a professional, a trained, licensed professional, how your thinking may be off, and to challenge that so that you come up with healthier solutions. It's going to make your life healthier and the people around you. And so let me just tell you this. This is what the benefits are. So the first one is, after going to therapy, men, the first thing is emotional awareness. Just being emotionally aware of how you're showing up in the world, emotionally aware of how other people are experiencing you, and emotionally aware about how you are feeling instead of masking it with those maladaptive behaviors. Without all those things, you're going to have some emotional awareness to know, okay, this is what I'm feeling, which is going to help you with some clarity so you can make some powerful decisions, some great, healthy, powerful decisions. The next thing that I would say would come out of therapy is the courage to be vulnerable. Because a lot of you feel like being vulnerable, showing what you really feel is feminine, or it's a sign of weakness, but it's really not. There is so much power and strength, men, in being vulnerable, into feeling what you feel and expressing exactly what you feel and asking for exactly what you want. You can never get it if you don't ask for it. And you can't ask for something that you don't even know that you want. And that's what therapy can help you to figure out. Okay. Another thing is what can come out of therapy is respect for others and for self, having self-respect. And a lot of you probably don't even know what that is. You don't know what it is. So you thinking having self-respect is just walking in a room with some clean clothes on or some nice clothes, but it really shows up in how you move in the world, is how you really show a sense of self-respect, that you respect yourself. The last thing is to redefine strength. Redefining strength, and resilience, and not suppressing your emotions and pretending to show up with strength. I'm talking about redefining what real strength is, what masculine strength is. Healthy masculinity, not toxic masculinity. Okay? All right. So there are many benefits to seeking mental health treatment, my brothers, and you don't have to be crazy. We want to normalize the experience. Get you a therapist. Just like hopefully you have a primary care physician that you check on, that you get your regular checkups with. I want you to also have a therapist that you check in with from time to time. Come on now, brothers. I want you to expand on your quality of life. And in order to do that, you got to get your mind right. You have to have your mind. You have to get your mind as healthy as possible. All right. Okay. So my brothers, I am going to put up some resources. I know one is going to be Psychology Today, and some others. And I just want you to kind of jot them down and look. I know Better Health is one. And nowadays you can do therapy. You don't even have to go in the office. I am 100% virtual. So my clients see me while they are sometimes at work, sometimes in the car, you know what I'm saying, moving around, moving and shaking, but yet and still they know they carve out that 50 minutes to an hour to see Andrea, and they can be on their phones, on computers. Oh, the services are here, and I am going to provide them for you. All right, my brothers. So this is another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown, and family. I will see you again next week. And please put down in the comments, let me know if there's someone that you know who you want to pass this information around to, or if you found a good therapist, put it down under the video so that other people can find them too, because that's a good way. Word of mouth is a fantastic way to find a therapist. Okay, my brothers, I'm putting my money on you. You got this, because Because remember, we need you. We need you as your full self. Okay? We need you. All right, family. So I will see you next week on the next episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. And don't you ever forget, I love you.